Alright guys, so today we're going to take a look at DC Multiverse from Mcfarlane Toys. Green Arrow. This is the guy from Injustice 2. We've got the UPC number there for anybody that's interested. Packaging is typical Mcfarlane packaging. We've got a picture, a really nice picture actually on the back of the toy itself. Just kind of looking and standing all bold or whatever. So let's go ahead and crack it open and see what we have inside. Alright, and here he is in all his glory, and surprise, surprise, the Mcfarlane figure is standing up without his base. This one actually did require me to do a little finagling just to get him to balance just right, but all in all, he does stand up without a base, which is pretty cool, and I actually really like this look for Green Arrow from the Injustice game. It looks really cool. We've got a lot of good detail there on the sculpt. The boots are cut nice. We've got the laces. We've got detailing on the pants, the pockets and pouches and things that we've got around his legs. The tunic looks really good, nice and detailed with the laces. The wrist guards looked really nice. I mean, everything looks really good. He does have Mcfarlane side-eye going on there, which is annoying, but the hair looks great. I mean, it's a really good sculpt all in all. It looks really good. It's a cool look for him. As far as articulation goes, it's all the typical Mcfarlane articulation, except in this particular case, this is one of the figures where they've covered up the ball joint ankles really, really well with the boots, and with the on the wrists as well. They're covered up nice. Now that is going to hurt articulation a little bit, so you're not going to be able to position him the same as you would if the ball joints were exposed, allowing for more movement there. So you're going to have a little bit of limited movement. You can see we don't really have that rocker there on the ankle. I mean, it's there, but it doesn't really move much. We got swivel, we got back and forth. So a little bit of limited articulation there just because of the design of the figure. Same thing with the torso as well, because of this solid rubber piece that's covering the entire torso. Like, he doesn't really bend over. He just doesn't. Same thing with trying to bend him back. He doesn't really bend back. So as far as looks go, it looks great. Articulation is, I mean, definitely could be better. The other thing that I found just odd about the design choice for this is the shoulder pads here are attached to the upper bicep, which is an odd place. I would have rather seen them attached to the torso. They're a nice soft rubber and all, but like when you move the arm around, they go with it. So now he's, I guess, protecting his armpits for some reason. So you do get all the articulation, which is cool, but if you're going to pose him with his arm up, it's going to look stupid. So I'd rather have seen these attached to the upper torso. It would have looked better, held the sculpt together better, especially for somebody like me. I don't pose my figures in dynamic poses. I put them on the shelf pretty standard. But all in all, it looks good. Again, side-eye Mcfarlane. The hair's really good. Everything looks nice. Everything's done well. I like the laces on the tunic there. Everything looks really, really well done. It's a great sculpt. I think Mcfarlane did a good job. So, now we got to talk about accessories. First of all, let's bring out the two non-accessories, and that's these two things right here. This is not an accessory. This is just a stand. Okay? Same thing with this. This is a card. Again, kind of an extension of the old G.I. Joe little things that you would cut out of the back of the package that give you a picture and a description. That's what this is, not an accessory. Now, Green Arrow does come with some accessories. He better. He's Green Arrow. So he's got his bow and he's got his pack with his arrows. This is an odd choice. Just like a molded plastic bunch of arrows just kind of shoved in here. Now, the only reason I can think of that they would do it like this instead of mold it into one piece is because they plan on at some point reusing this mold for some other characters, or maybe they already have and I'm not aware of it. So kind of an odd choice there. You just got a chunk of arrows that sits in there, but I mean, I guess it works. It's fine. You know, would have been nice if these were individual arrows, or at least we got a couple of individual arrows instead of just one big chunk. It would have been nice, but we got the bow. We got the backpack, we got the arrows, we got some accessories. So we're already a step up from a lot of Mcfarlane figures where you don't get really any accessories whatsoever in the box. All in all, I really like the sculpt. The articulation is definitely workable, it's manageable. It's a really nice figure. I like it. He's going to look cool sitting on the shelf. So let's do some comparisons and see how he stacks up to some other characters. Alright, so first up we have what I believe is the best Mcfarlane Batman that we have, and that is the very first one. This is the Batman from Detective Comics 1000. This is a great Batman figure. I think it's got all the right proportions and the right look for a good Batman figure, and you can see Green Arrow stands about a quarter-inch, give or take, taller than Batman does. His head is a decent chunk larger, although I will say this Batman figure does have kind of a small head proportionally for the size of its body, but still, I think it works. I think we could easily have them next to each other in a lineup for the Justice League. I don't necessarily think that Green Arrow should be bigger than Batman, but we can fudge it a little bit, and I think we can make it work. Alright, so now we have him next to a kind of a typical 6-inch scale figure. This is obviously Hasbro Marvel Legends. This is the 20th anniversary Captain America, where I've done a head swap on him. You can see, yeah, there is a solid inch between the two of them. Green Arrow, this particular Green Arrow is at the maximum height for most Mcfarlane toys. So even though you've got a Captain America figure from Hasbro, who tend to be taller figures, they usually put him on a slightly larger buck. Green Arrow is considerably taller and kind of really just dwarfs this particular Captain America. So I don't think these two work well on a shelf together at all. Alright, so now we got him up with a couple of other 7-inch scale figures. You got him with the ZD Toys Iron Man Mark V and the Marvel Select Amazing Spider-Man 2, who Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a shorter figure for a 7-inch line. He actually works better, I think, with 6-inch scale figures just because of his height. ZD Toys is a pretty standard 7-inch scale line. I think it works well. Green Arrow, again, is still a little big for most of your average 7-inch scale toys, even within the Mcfarlane line, but I think he still works. It's still a great figure. But now let's take a look and see what he looks like against some imports. Alright, so here we've got him next to an SH Figuarts Infinity War Captain America. You can see he dwarfs this guy by a lot. Certainly nowhere near the scale you would want these two to be in comparison to put them on the same shelf. And then even worse, we've got him sitting there next to the Figuarts Captain America from the First Avenger, or not First Avenger, I guess, First Avengers movie. And yeah, again, just dwarfs these two. Again, not something you want to put on the same shelf together. Alright, to wrap this up, let's just talk about pricing again. Mcfarlane DC Multiverse, $20. $19.99 at your retail place. I picked this one up, I believe, at Best Buy. You can find them online. Obviously, if you're going to buy them aftermarket, you're going to pay a little bit more. He goes for $25 to $30 sometimes. And then depending on whether or not you have to pay for shipping, either buying on eBay or buying even from one of the online retailers, whether it be Walmart or Best Buy or Target or wherever, if you find him, you're going to probably pay shipping. So he's going to be a little bit more than that. So if you can pick him up in store, that's going to be your best bet to get him right for $20, no shipping, nothing like that. I think it's worth it. Again, when you've got other companies pushing their prices up, everything from Hasbro to the imports to everybody else, you got these prices rising. When you've got Mcfarlane who's staying at the $20 price point, even when there are some issues from time to time with Mcfarlane stuff, you know, whether it be accessories or QC or whatever, overall, good figures. This one is a great figure. I really like the sculpt. I really like the way it looks. I think it's going to look really good on the shelf, and for $20, it's a really, really hard deal to beat. So there you go.